Just where it was needed, gleaming black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing.
Hey guys, so in this yoga workout video, we'll be doing gentle yoga. So mostly everything is going to happen down on the mat in a gentle yoga class. We'll be doing things very slowly after we get the body warmed up, and most of the poses should feel good and relaxing. So adjust as you need to. If there's a pose that's not feeling good, you're more than welcome to swap it out, find a child's pose. Wait until the next stretch. So we'll go ahead and start with a breathing practice, laying down on our backs or however we're most comfortable. So you could do this seated or standing if you wanted to. Two options for laying down on the back. If you wanted to keep the knees bent, just allow those knees to rest together in the middle. Otherwise, we can extend the legs long, resting the arms down by the sides. Taking a moment to make any last adjustments to feel a little more comfortable, and eventually taking the eyes closed or a soft gaze. So if you do want to keep the eyes open, just finding a focal point maybe on the ceiling to gaze out softly as we begin to tune into the breath. Noticing the breath, maybe for the first time today. And if we're not already, we're sealing off the lips and breathing in and out of the nose. Beginning to lengthen the breath. So on our inhales, filling the lungs up completely. On the exhales, letting it all go, softening a little bit in the body. As we continue that long, steady breath, bringing the awareness to the body. Noticing if there's any areas that we can soften and relax a little more. Unclenching the jaw, allowing the neck and shoulders to relax a little more. And just scanning the body all the way down to the toes, softening and exhaling. And then we'll blink open the eyes. We can wiggle the fingers and toes a little bit. And then we'll draw the knees into the chest, either grabbing the backs of the legs or around the shins. Maybe starting to rock from side to side. Maybe drawing some circles with the knees. Just finding movements that feel good for the body. And then we're gonna go ahead and do some alternating knee hugs. We keep one knee in, extend the other leg long. You can either hold onto the shin or the back of the leg. Taking an inhale and then exhale to switch. Inhaling to draw that other knee in, exhaling to switch. Let's do one more on each leg. And then we'll draw both knees back into the chest. And then planting the feet on the mat about hips-width distance apart, taking the arms down by the sides. We'll begin to do some hip bridge. So lifting the hips as we inhale, exhaling, releasing the hips down. Pressing our way into the heels, easy breath. Let's do one more hip bridge and then we'll release the hips down. We're gonna do some windshield wipers. So we're gonna take the feet wide. If you're on a mat, you can take the feet as wide as the mat, arms out to a T, and then allowing those knees to gently fall from side to side. Let's go one more time to each side. And then we'll draw those knees at center, bring the feet back closer together, and we're gonna come up to an easy seated position. So sitting crisscross or maybe on top of the feet, however feels most comfortable for you. And we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. So inhaling to draw the shoulders up, exhaling to release the shoulders down and back. And let's do one more like that. And then we'll release those shoulders down and back. We're just gonna do a little side reach. So one hand comes to the outside of the hip onto the floor for support. The other arm reaches up and over, finding that stretch in the side body. We'll take an inhale, exhaling through center, inhaling, reaching for the other side. We'll just flow side to side a few times, getting the body warmed up, but working into that little side stretch that should feel good. And let's go one more time to each side. And then we'll reset back in center, coming to tabletop position. So taking hands and knees to the floor. We want to make sure that we're setting our wrists underneath the shoulders and our knees underneath the hips. Spread the fingertips wide. And then we're going to move through some cat-cow. So on an inhale, belly drops, stretching across the chest, gazing up. On an exhale, tucking the tailbone under, drawing belly button towards the spine and chin towards the chest. So inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. So flexion and extension of the spine should feel pretty good here. Moving through a range of motion that feels good for you. So this movement could be a lot bigger or a lot smaller. Again, listening to the body and noticing what feels right today. Let's do 2 more cat-cow with the breath. And then after that next exhale, coming back to a neutral spine, and we're gonna go through some spinal balance, or sometimes we call these bird dogs. Inhaling and reaching opposite arm and leg, exhale to release, and then inhale, reach for the other side. If that's too much today, you could do just the arms or just the legs. Feel free to find what works for you. Either way, we'll inhale to lift and reach long, exhale to release. Inhale, reach long for the other side. Let's do one more on each side. And then we're gonna press back to a child's pose. So we'll keep the feet together. You may bring your knees as wide as the mat, but they don't have to come that wide. Again, find what feels right for you. And then we're resting forehead to the floor, reaching fingertips towards the top of the mat. Taking a few breaths here in child's pose. next exhale, we'll go ahead and rise up. We're coming back to an easy seated position. So you could sit crisscross again. I tend to like to sit up on top of the feet. It's just a little bit more comfortable for me personally, but feel free to sit crisscross if that feels better. We're gonna move to a neck stretch. So we'll start to bring our ear down towards one shoulder, keeping those shoulders relaxed down. If you're already feeling a nice neck stretch here, you may choose to stay here, or if we want a little bit more sensation, we'll reach the opposite fingertips down towards the floor. Always coming back to that easy breath. Good, we'll bring that arm in, bring the head up center. Before going to the other side, we'll do a few more of those shoulder rolls. And then we'll keep the shoulders down and back, and we'll move to the other side for that neck stretch. Ear towards the shoulder, option to stay here or reach those fingertips towards the floor. Good, we'll bring the arm and head up to neutral, maybe a couple shoulder rolls if that's feeling good. And then our next pose can be done seated from the knees or even standing. So decide what works best for you. We're gonna do chest expansion. So we're taking the hands behind us, palms facing in towards each other, straightening into the arms to get that nice stretch across the chest. Now if you're able to, you might clasp the hands behind the back, pressing the palms all the way together. And then straighten into the arms to get that nice chest stretch. You may lift the gaze a little bit, just being careful to keep the back of the neck nice and long. Good, we'll go ahead and gently release. We're coming back to hands and knees. So we're gonna be on the hands and knees for just a few poses. I just wanna bring your attention to your knees and your hands. If you're getting any pain in the knees, you may wanna add some extra cushion underneath them. So you could fold over your mat like this, maybe take a blanket or a towel underneath the knees. And then same thing for the wrist. You could always fold over the top of the mat to add some extra cushion if you need to. So we'll start on the hands and knees. We're gonna do a calf stretch. So we're setting one leg back and tucking the toes. So with that leg straight, tuck the toes and then press the heel towards the back of the mat. We're looking for that nice calf stretch. You'll know when you're there because it feels pretty nice. And we're just gonna hold for a few breaths. We'll go ahead and draw that leg in. If you feel like you need to kind of circle it out, wiggle that leg out, go for it. And we're just gonna make our way to the other side, straightening out that other leg, tucking the toes and pressing the heel towards the back of the mat. Let's hold for one more breath. And then we can gently release again, maybe just wiggling off that foot a little bit. If you feel like you need to come off the hands for a moment, we'll reset. We're gonna do some thoracic mobility. So back to hands and knees. We're gonna take one hand behind the head with that elbow bent. We're gonna inhale and open up as high as we can with that elbow. And exhale, we're gonna drive that elbow to the other arm. So again, inhaling to lift that elbow up, opening up to the side. Exhaling to drive that elbow towards the other arm. So we're just seeing how much mobility we have at this thoracic part of our spine. Always moving with the breath. Let's do two more on this side. Inhaling, last one. Exhaling to drive it down. and then release. And we'll do that again on the other side. So other hand comes behind the head. We inhale to lift and open up. Exhale to drive elbow towards opposite arm. Good, using that breath here. Let's do 2 more on this side. Last one, exhaling to drive it down, and we'll go ahead and release. So now we're gonna come up onto the knees if we're not already there for a gate pose. I'm gonna send my right leg out to the side. So you may wanna do the right side just for the ease of cueing and make sure that we're going to the correct side on this one. So right leg out to the side, we have our knee and toes pointing straight ahead, nice and tall. We're gonna do a tricep stretch with our left arm. So the opposite arm as the leg is gonna come behind the head. Try to keep the head in a neutral position. You may just stay here if you're already getting that stretch in the back of the left arm, or the right arm can assist, some gentle pressure on that arm. Again, we want to keep the head in a neutral position. We can either stay here or we'll start to lean over to the right side. So the direction of the leg that is extended, starting to feel that nice little stretch in the side body. Again, that's optional. You can come back through center if that's becoming too much. Holding where we can keep a nice easy breath. Good, we'll release through center, release the arms, draw that knee in, and we're just gonna do that same thing on the other side. So starting with extending that other leg out long, opposite arm comes up for that tricep stretch, either staying here or assisting that stretch with the opposite hand. And we can stay here upright or start to lean over to the left side or whatever side that leg is extended. We'll come through center, releasing the arms, drawing that knee in. We're gonna make our way onto our side. So we're gonna do 2 stretches on the side. You can go to either side for this one. It's a little bit easier to follow. Once we're on our side, we're gonna move to a quad stretch. So bending the top leg and grabbing onto that top ankle. Starting to draw the knees close together. Maybe just pressing the hips forward just the smallest bit to find that stretch in that top quad. We're gonna stay on this side for one more stretch. We'll go ahead and release that leg. We're lifting the top leg up straight, and gently and slowly we're gonna lower that leg down in front of us. So both legs are straight. We kind of have a 90-degree angle between the legs. And once you have those feet set, we're gonna peel open the top arm into a spinal twist. If at any point this becomes uncomfortable or painful, you can come out nice and slow. When you're ready, coming out the same way we came in. So bringing that top arm back forward, we'll just draw the legs together and move to the other side. So first up will be that quad stretch, bending top leg, kicking heel to the glute, grabbing onto the ankle if you can, drawing those knees close together and pressing the hips forward. Good, so we'll release and we'll move into that spinal twist, so lifting the top leg up straight, gently and slowly dropping that leg down in front. Remember, 90 degrees between the legs, and then we can start to peel open that top shoulder into the twist. Slowly we'll bring that top arm back forward, drawing the knees together, and we're gonna make our way laying onto the backs for a few more stretches before going into our final relaxation. So let's start laying on the back. We can extend the legs long, and we'll reach the arms up overhead. We can go ahead and interlace the fingers and just releasing that pointer finger and thumb. Otherwise, all the other fingers are interlaced. And then we're just going to reach to the side with those fingertips, reaching the fingertips to the right side, maybe finding that stretch in the left side body as we go. Always coming back to that easy breath. We'll slowly come through center and then take those fingertips to the left side. Big side reach. Might be a small movement, but you may feel that little stretch in the side body or even into the shoulders. We'll slowly come through center and we're gonna do figure four. So again, laying on our backs, we're crossing right foot over the left thigh. We can gently add some pressure here, keeping this foot flexed. And if you want more, we can also grab behind the opposite leg and hug those legs a little bit closer to us to deepen that stretch. No matter what you do, just keeping this foot flexed to protect that knee. Perfect. We'll go ahead and release, and we're just going to do figure four on the other side. Crossing foot over the opposite thigh, resting your ankle on that thigh, and then gentle pressure on this leg here, or grabbing behind that opposite leg. Good, such a good stretch. I could stay there forever, but let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna move to Recline Butterfly. So we'll bring the bottoms of the feet together, let the knees rest out wide. We're just gonna allow gravity to do the work for us here. You may take a hand to the belly and a hand over the heart. That's optional if you would rather have your arms down by the sides. That is fine as well. And we'll just settle in with a few easy breaths. If you have your hands on the body, just noticing the breath, meeting those hands as you inhale. Good. We'll go ahead and use the hands to guide those knees together. We're going to do a couple of wall stretches. So at this point, you'll want to find some open wall space like I have here. And as you do, pulling your mat with the short end to the wall, okay? So take a moment if you need to pause the video, make sure that you get set up, and then we're going to have a seat. You want to bring your hips as close to the wall as you can because we're going to be bringing our legs up on top of the wall. So again, hips to the wall as close as you can get them. And then you'll just roll over onto the back and allow those feet to come up onto the wall. You may shimmy so that your bottom is all the way touching the wall. And we're just going to stay here and breathe. Enjoying this relaxing, refreshing pose. Now we have the choice to stay here. If you'd like, you can start to open up the legs wide until you feel that nice stretch in the inner thighs. Again, this is optional. You could just keep those legs overhead if you'd like. If you have the feet wide, just allowing gravity to do this great stretch for you. And if you have the feet out wide, we'll use the hands to guide those legs back together. And we'll hug the knees to the chest and just kind of roll off to the side. You can just get situated on your mat, maybe hugging knees into the chest, rocking side to side if that feels good. Taking any last movements or poses that you feel like you need here before we go into our final relaxation. And then as you're ready, we'll go ahead and set up for Shavasana. So just like when we started, you have the same options. You can keep the knees bent, especially if that feels better for the back. Just allow those knees to rest in the middle. Or we can extend the legs long. We'll take the arms down by the sides, rotating those palms to face up towards the sky. Taking the eyes closed or back to that soft gaze. Allowing the breath to flow naturally now. And try to be still in the body so that the mind too can be still in Shavasana. We'll bring our awareness back to the breath. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes. Maybe allowing the head to fall from side to side. Eventually, as you're ready, we'll roll over onto one side, taking a moment to cradle the head and the arm. Taking a moment to transition back to our day. As you're ready, using the strength of the arms to press up to an easy seated position. You may keep the eyes closed or a soft gaze. You can either keep the hands resting on the knees or pressing the hands together, Anjali Mudra, our heart center. The light that shines in me honors the light that shines in you. Namaste.